All right. What the? Oh, I can't swear on the first minute. What is going on, everybody? We have a little shortened, pre-recorded pre-recorded segment before tomorrow's podcast airs. Wanted to talk about a few things. Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout are both on IL. Well, Shohei's not on IL, but Shohei Ohtani is done pitching for the entire season, which is huge. Huge news. Wanted to get that out. And Josh Jacobs today signed a 1-year contract worth up to $12 million with the Raiders. So he officially ended his holdout. So I will not take up any more of your time before you watch the rest of the episodes. Will be clipped after this. But let's get into it. Shohei Ohtani has a UCL tear in his elbow, and he won't pitch again. Shohei Ohtani is probably the greatest player we've ever seen. Everyone, all these old heads are, oh, Babe Ruth, Babe Ruth, Babe Ruth. Shohei Ohtani has done so much more than Babe Ruth has in his, I think, 5-year career, 6-year career now. But the Angels announced that Shohei Ohtani has a UCL tear and he won't pitch again. He does plan to DH, but this right here, this UCL tear is going to set off a lot of red flags for MLB front offices, because now people are saying he's not going to be fully recovered from this UCL tear until after next season, the 2025 season. So he won't pitch again probably until the 2025 season. If I was a GM for the Dodgers, the Giants, anybody who's trying to get Shohei Ohtani in the offseason, I would not give him as much money as people are saying he's going to get, because he's only going to be a bat. He doesn't fix your pitching staff at the moment. He doesn't fix your pitching staff at the moment. He's just hitting. And I know Bryce Harper did it. Bryce Harper's been playing first. He doesn't have to throw the ball a lot. But Shohei Ohtani, people should not give him $500 million. I don't think he's worth $500 million. If he's a pitcher hitter, maybe, but I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's worth that much money, especially now with the injury risk. Shohei Ohtani has been, Shohei Ohtani has been the best player in baseball this year and last year. But now, people are saying he's going to get $300 million for hitting, $200 million for pitching. If he is not going to pitch next season, he shouldn't be getting that amount of money. I don't even think Shohei Ohtani cares about the money. He's just a guy like that. But as of right now, Shohei Ohtani does not deserve $500 million, especially with him being out. That's just in my opinion. Like Shohei Ohtani this year, batting. He's batting 305. Very, very good hitting stats. 44 home runs, 91 RBIs. This 136 strikeouts to 143 hits. So he's hitting more than he's striking out. But Shohei Ohtani is home run or strikeout. Doesn't get very many doubles. I mean, triples are kind of a rare occurrence in the MLB now, but they're like almost a third of his hits are home runs. I'm not saying that people shouldn't sign him for amount of money, but with there being no cap space in the MLB, that kind of I think people are going to give him $500 million regardless. But a lot of these teams are going to be like, hey, he was injured 2020. Shortened season, I know, but injured. Didn't pitch. 2018, 2019 didn't pitch. Let's go to pitching stats. Yeah. 4-2 in 2018, his rookie year, in 51 innings, 19 earned runs, not bad at all. Didn't pitch 2019, pitched one game in 2020, and then he started to pick it up. 19-2, 15-9, 10-4. All sub 3.2 ERAs. Last year he had a 2.3. I'm not saying he's not worth $500 million, But the injury sparks a red flag for me. Like, look at DeGrom. Look at Jacob DeGrom. Jacob DeGrom was the most dominant pitcher in all of baseball for the Mets. Tommy John. Pitched again. Tommy John again. He's never been the same. And I don't want Shohei Ohtani to go down that path, but he's getting there if he stays two-way. Now let's go to Mike Trout. Mike Trout, after being reinstated on Tuesday, is now back on the IL. I think they've shut Mike Trout down for the rest of the season because there's no chance they make the playoffs without Shohei Ohtani. But Mike Trout wasn't having a bad year. Obviously, he was having a little bit of an off year, batting .264, when he's been averaging like at least .280, .290. He's in the midst of a down year. He was out for a month, and I know that changes a lot. But signing Mike Trout for that long, they're wasting his talent. If they're not going to make the playoffs, they should just trade him, in my opinion. He's played 3 postseason games. All of them are in 2014. They haven't made the playoffs since 2014, which is insane. Like, there's no way that, like, they should be keeping Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. They're just wasting their talent. But what's next for the Angels this season? I believe we talked about this on Wednesday. The Angels are 62 and 67 now. They're third in the West. There's no way they make the playoffs. And it's not like they have a good enough record to actually tank for a good hit or for a good pick. Obviously, they're gonna try and win games with the roster they have. They do have a very balanced roster, but not having Shohei Ohtani or Mike Trout is insane. Shohei Ohtani's still gonna hit, but the Angels' pitching staff has not been the greatest, other than Shohei Ohtani. Lucas Giolito picked him up for 2 prospects for the White Sox. Giolito, I believe, has like an 8 ERA and 3 starts with the Angels. He's not it. He's regressing. But you gotta the 2 injury-prone superstars they have just need to literally just get it together. Shohei Ohtani will probably be gone by the end of the season. Mike Trout obviously is staying. He signed like a 13-year contract or something like that, I think. But it's actually insane how the Angels get away with scamming these 2 players and keeping them for as long as they can without producing anything. All right. Well, we'll go to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs ends his holdout, which is huge for fantasy players. Nobody really knew if Josh Jacobs was going to play this year. Everyone thought he was going to hold out, wait for a trade, or sign somewhere in the offseason. But Josh Jacobs signs a 1-year, he signed the 10.09, the $10 million franchise tag. Can get up to 12 mil. Josh Jacobs tweeted, "I'm back," like Jordan. I don't understand it. He thinks he's Jordan. He's not. He was the best running back in the league last year, though. I will give him that. He is a great piece in the Raiders' offense. With Jimmy Garoppolo now, who loves to throw to his running backs, loves to get his running backs involved, I think this is a huge day to be a Raiders fan. So, everyone was saying at the beginning of the offseason, running backs aren't getting the recognition they deserve. They should be getting paid all this money. I'm not a firm believer in that. I do not think running backs should be paid more than like $15 million a year. It's the most replaceable. What is the word I'm looking for? they don't have a lot of longevity, is what I'm trying to say. Most good running backs have a 10-year career. Running backs now, with how injuries are working, with everything that's going on. Let me close this. There we go. Okay. Shadow's gone. Not really, but looks better. I don't think running backs should be getting paid this much. Look at McCaffrey. McCaffrey has been injured almost every year that he's been in the league. Saquon, as much as I love Saquon, always injured. He's always injured. And then you have, I'm trying to think of other running backs who have been injured in the past. Jay Ajayi, his career went down the drain. He got injured. But you notice a pattern. A lot of these good, like really, really good running backs end up getting injured. So they keep their running backs for their rookie deal, their 4 years. They want to sign them one more year. They played good their 4th year. They sign them a franchise tag, and then they go and draft another running back. I think that's what's going to happen with the Raiders. Because Josh Jacobs, I don't think he's been injured too much, but with how much they're going to use him, he is going to get injured eventually. And I hate to say that because I love him. Even though he went for like 300 yards on the Seahawks last year, I really don't believe that teams should be... I don't think the Raiders should stick with him after this season. Like, look at this. 15 games played, 217 attempts in 2021. 15 games played, 273. And then 274 in 2019. Last year was his best year by far. On the edge of his rookie contract. 12 touchdowns, only 3 fumbles, and he only lost one of those fumbles. 400 yards receiving, 64 targets, 53 receptions. Longest run is 86-yarder. 12 rushing touchdowns, 1,600 rushing yards. His best season by far. He's averaging almost 5 a carry. Yeah, 5 per carry. But the Raiders need to figure it out. I know there was everything last year with Gruden and like all of that stuff. Henry Ruggs is... I'm not even going to talk about that. But Josh Jacobs has the ability to be one of the best running backs in the league this year. If they can continue to utilize him both in the pass and the run, I think it'll be great for the Raiders. I think the Raiders can actually make a push in the AFC West. But even in the AFC West, you've got the Chiefs and Mahomes. You've got the Chargers and Justin Herbert, and then you've got Broncos country. Let's ride. They're gonna be last. But yeah, Josh Jacobs ends his holdout. Huge day for Raiders fans. Huge day for fantasy football fans or players. I know I've got my draft coming up tomorrow. Now I can actually look at Josh Jacobs and be like, hey, he's not going to hold out. I can draft him. So, got one more thing to talk about. Pretty big. I love it. Week 0 for college football. College football is officially back. It is holy... Oh my God. Okay. We'll just talk about this game real quick. Navy Notre Dame. First game of the college football season in Ireland. Sam Hartman, the transfer from Wake Forest. Almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 14 for 17. If Notre Dame's going to play like this, granted Navy isn't the greatest team, they're going to be good. I'm thinking they'll be a top 25 at the end of the year. I don't think they beat some of the bigger teams that they got coming up. I think they play USC. I think they lose to USC, but if Notre Dame's defense and they can figure out their offense, I think they'll be really good. All right, that's it for the for a little intro clip, the little 15-minute intro. On Sunday, we will talk about, or well, later in the video is when you'll see it. But for me, tomorrow we'll talk about. I think Inter Miami plays tomorrow. Talk more about baseball scores, what's going on there, if anything happens. And then we're going to do a NFL conference tier list and predictions. So that'll be fun. But, yeah, if you're watching this, it'll be cut, hopefully seamlessly. Never used Adobe Premiere Pro, but I'm going to link this video, this little pre-recorded segment, because I wanted to get it before I lost the ideas I was going to talk about. And tomorrow's episode, which will be, or tomorrow's recording, when I record it and post it, you'll see this and everything else. Okay, well, I'll enjoy the rest of the video, basically. So, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Slinger Sports Podcast. If you are seeing this, there should have been a 15-minute clip beforehand that was recorded Friday because I was busy this weekend and I wanted to talk about it. On that, it should have heard about Shohei Ohtani and Josh Jacobs and what's going on with them. But Mac is running out of battery, so we got to do this quick because we are losing power fast. So, topics for today, if we can get through all of them. Felix Bautista is heading to the IL with a UCL injury. Prayers up to him. Lionel Messi scores in his MLS debut against New York Red Bull or something like that. New York City Red Bull. Mike Evans' value this season with his quarterback situation in fantasy and as an actual receiver. Corey Davis retired, 28 years old. Sad to see that. He was like number 2 over. He was like a 5th overall draft pick. Trey Lance traded. That I have a lot to say about, so we'll do that. And then NFL predictions for the season and tier list of teams and who I think is good and who I think is bad. So let's get into it because we are running on 10% power. So, sorry, AP Sports or AP News. Felix Bautista is going to the IL with an elbow injury. Sad to see him being injured because he has been one of the best relievers, if not the best closer in the MLB this season. He had a really good season last season, and he's breaking out again this season. It's just tough for the Astros, Orioles bullpen. Orioles, as you can see through AP News, a UCL injury can lead to Tommy John. Hopefully, they plan for him to return. If they can return to help them, as you can see, secure a playoff berth, which they probably will. If they keep it up in the AL East, they will for sure make the playoffs and help them in the playoffs. Hopefully that's the case. I do not want to see him go through Tommy John surgery. But, I mean, you can't really do anything else about Tommy John. He one of the best closers in baseball right now. I do not want to see him go through Tommy John because then he's going to go into a regression just like Jacob deGrom did. And Shohei will probably go into a regression after getting surgery on his UCL, which I don't like to say because he's a really good baseball player, but can't help it. Really cannot help it. The Astros currently hold the lead in the AL East over the Rays. If they played the White Sox today, they smoked them, of course. Michael Kopech was on the mound, 400 runs, but we'll get to that. So they didn't need Felix Bautista in that game. So if they can loosen the load on their bullpen by winning these games by a lot and not having to go in close games, then they can preserve their bullpen for the playoffs. And hopefully Felix Bautista is back by then. But prayers up to him. I really don't want to see him go through Tommy John if he does go through Tommy John. Lionel Messi scores in his MLS debut for Inter Miami. Did we really expect anything else? Did we really expect anything else? Lionel Messi's the best soccer player on the planet. Football player on the planet. Sorry. Um, but if you guys saw the video, I don't know if CNN has it, but no, they don't. Lionel Messi got the ball and dribbled through almost like 3 or 4 defenders, and then with his left foot, he kind of passed it to someone who was cutting, and then just weaved through the defenders to be open right in the middle of the box, and the goalie didn't see him. Guy passed it right back to Messi. Messi had a wide open goal. It was insane. It was a really good play, and I feel bad for all these MLS players who have to go up against Messi. It is actually insane just how good Lionel Messi is. Oh my God, we've lost 3% of battery, and we've been recording for 4 minutes. All right. But yeah, Lionel Messi made his MLS regular season debut away, against the New York Red Bulls. 60th minute, entered the game, and then scored in the 89th minute. Really, there's nothing else I can say about Messi. Messi's good. Messi's great. If he decides to stay in Inter Miami for a couple more years, I would not be opposed to it, because I'm not really a soccer fan. But okay, enough about that, because there's really nothing I can say about that. Messi just scores. He scores a lot. Ballon d'Or winner. He's just so good. Mike Evans. Mike Evans has had 1,000 yards in every single game, every single year that he's been in the league, which is freaking insane. He's played, almost pretty much 10 seasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 seasons. 10,000 yards. So he's still averaging over 1,000 yards a season, but he does not have Tom Brady this year. He doesn't have Tom Brady this year. I mean, granted, he had Jameson Winston for most of these seasons, and he still produced. Now they have Baker. Baker's not a bad quarterback, don't get me wrong. And even in the preseason, Baker Mayfield balled out. So I think a lot of people in fantasy, especially, are staying away from Mike Evans and Chris Godwin because Baker is the quarterback. I wouldn't be too scared about it. I mean, I drafted Mike Evans in like the 13th round or something like that because nobody wanted to take him. So I got a steal. And if he produces like he has produced in the past, then I get a late round steal. And I feel like that's the way for most of these players, or most of these fantasy players. But I think Baker Mayfield will get the ball to Mike Evans a lot. He's kind of a safety net. As long as Mike Evans can stay healthy, he will hit his 1,000-yard mark. And we'll probably go for double-digit touchdowns. I know he was injured for 2 games last season. Still hit 1,000 yards. Get Tom Brady. What else can I say? Okay. Sorry, I'm going very fast. 7 minutes in, and we are already through 3 of the 4 topics. Corey Davis announces his intention to step away from football, per the Jets, per him posting on Instagram. He's the 5th overall pick in the 2017 draft. He's only been in the league for 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. He's been in the league for 7 years. But still, he has more in the tank. Granted, he's been injured a lot. But he, as it says here, he appeared in 22 games in 2021 and 2022. And he had 1,000 yards in 22 games, which isn't bad. He's still getting the ball, but with all these young guys coming in, Garrett Wilson is on the Jets now. Lazard is on the Jets. Regardless, they have a lot of weapons, and with Aaron Rodgers in there, I think Corey Davis was just I'm not going to get targeted as much with all these guys that he likes throwing to. And what's it called? I'm trying to look. Yeah, here. Corey Davis said on Instagram, for some time now, I've been contemplating stepping away from the sport of football. This decision has not been easy, although I'm a deep person. I'm a man of few words. I've been searching my heart for what to do, and I feel like stepping away from the game is the best path for me at this time. I have more blessings than I could have ever imagined. I have an amazing family, a beautiful wife, and 2 healthy children that I look forward to spending more time with. I'm truly grateful for all the opportunities I have had and will continue to have on my journey. Thank you to my family and friends and the Jets organization for supporting me through this process. He doesn't really tell what why he stepped away, and I mean I can't really infer for him, but I think it was a good decision by Corey Davis. I think he had more left in the tank, maybe a season or two, but for football fans everywhere, this kind of just came out of the blue, like came out of nowhere. So happy that Corey Davis is focusing on himself and not just chasing a bag like a lot of players really do. All right, I will probably talk about this for a while because I am a Seahawks fan and I absolutely hate the Niners, mind you. Trey Lance is traded to the Cowboys for a 4th-round pick. This is officially the worst trade-up in NFL history. The Niners traded up. I forget what pick they were, but they traded up to number 2 to pick Trey Lance over guys like Justin Fields, and I believe Micah Parsons was in that draft. I believe. Regardless, there's a lot of good players in that draft. I don't plan on looking it up, but Trey Lance was named the 3rd string after Sam Darnold was named the number 2 behind Brock Purdy. And if Brock Purdy ends up being a dud, because I think that last season I think anybody who's put in that offense is going to succeed. Like, I just think that offense is way too good. You can put literally any quarterback in that system with that offense and they will be good. But I think Trey Lance played like 2 or 3 games. He got injured last year after being named the starter against the Seahawks. I think he got injured week 2. And then Jimmy G came in. Jimmy G played for a while. And then he got injured, and Brock Purdy came in and stepped the fuck up. I love Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's a great quarterback, but I really don't think that trading, especially to the Cowboys, because they've got Dak. I saw something on NFL. It was like ESPN, like SportsCenter or whatever, showing Dak, Trey Lance, and then I think it was like Will Grier and Cooper Rush. And they're like, oh, is this the best like quarterback room in the league? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, there's no way having Trey Lance, Cooper Rush, and Will Grier is the best quarterback room. Especially Dak. Dak sucks. Dak is poised to be good, but Dak just is not good. I mean, granted, he does get, what's it called? He's got all the weapons. Dak's had weapons. Amari Cooper a couple years ago. He's got CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. That was their wide receiver room a couple years ago. And I think they just lose in the divisional or the wild card every year. It's just insane. And like, look at this. Dak is set to count $59 million against the salary cap next year. Why sign a young, like, I have a feeling they made this move because they're gonna get rid of Dak. They're not gonna re-sign him. And then they're just gonna have Trey Lance as the starter. So they can just get rid of cap space and then draft a quarterback. That's what I think is gonna happen. Oh my god. What we're gonna do, you guys will never see this recording. Oh my god. What the fuck? Woo! We are fucking back! Okay. Everything's fixed. Everything's fixed. It's not laggy anymore. It's not laggy. you guys will see what has happened. What a little clip of my suffering. What has happened? The MacBook is charged. We are at 32%. Dub. So we are going into what I was going to get into 40 freaking minutes ago. And yeah, so let's just get into that. NFL predictions. I was talking about this. You guys won't see that footage, but again, I think the Bills will be 12-5. Jets probably 10-7, make a wild card spot. Then Dolphins probably 9-8, something like that. Like they went 9-8 last year. I think they're about the same. And then the Patriots will finish with a losing record. Excuse me. Sorry, I burped right into the mic. This division may be one of the toughest, apart from the AFC West and the NFC East. But I think the Bengals take it. But I think the Bengals take it. I think they take it at 13-3, and I think the Ravens are 12-5. 13-3. Wait. Yeah. 13-3. And then 12-4. Not 12-5. 12-4 for the Ravens. I think it's a one game. I think the Bengals outlast them because they beat them once in the regular season. And I think that's what brings the Ravens down to 12-5 or 12-4. I think the Steelers go 10-7, and then the Browns. I think the Browns go like 8-8. Browns have a good team. As much as people say they're not going to be a good team, they are a good team. I think they're very competitive defense. Denzel Ward, Grantel Pitt, Myles Garrett. They've got a good team. Worst division, one of, if not the worst division in the entire league. The AFC South. In contention with the NFC South. The South divisions are not good. I think the Jags take it. Trevor Lawrence getting more weapons in Calvin Ridley. Even though he's got a gambling problem, he's still a top 10, top 15 receiver in the league in my opinion. I think the Jaguars take a 2-win leap. I think they go 11-5. And then I think it's going to be more of the same, just losing records. I think the Texans jump to third with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. But I'm not a big C.J. Stroud guy because I don't think he's that good. He's good, but like statistically, Ohio State quarterbacks who make it to the league are not very good. Chiefs take this division easily. Like with the Bills, they've got the best offense in the American League, and they've got Mahomes, they've got Kelsey. What else do you need? Pacheco is developing very nicely. He performed really well in the Super Bowl and the playoffs last year. And then I think the Chargers take the second. I think the Broncos actually jump up a few wins. I think they go 7-10. Then the Raiders go 6-11 again, ending up in fourth. Into the NFC. I think the Eagles take this division, but I think their last year was a fluke. They had a really easy schedule. They're going to have a lot tougher schedule this year. I know they play the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs beat them. I think it'll be a foot race between Dallas and Philly. If Dak can perform like at a high enough level and not get injured, I think this comes down to the last week. I think this comes down to the last time, or the second time the Eagles play the Cowboys. I think the Eagles go 12-4, and I think the Cowboys also go 11-7 or 12-4 or 12-5. Dude, some of these Like, look at this. Oh, because that's DeMar Hamlin. Yep. Totally forgot about that. Yeah, I think they go 13-4. I think the Cowboys stay at 12-5, like they always have. I think the Commanders take a substantial leap. I think they go 10-7, and I think the Giants kind of fall off and go 8-8, or 8-9, or 8 and whatever it is. Because it's not this. Because this team's played 17 games, and this team has only played 9. Regardless. Yeah. And then another pretty bad division. I think the Lions take it. I think the Lions take the North this year. I think the Lions make a huge leap, having Amon-Ra St. Brown now. I know they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. They've got a really good defense. Tracy Walker's really good. Jack Campbell's really good. I think they take both games from the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to have a regression. I think the Lions will go probably 11-6. 11-6. Vikings go 10-7. And then I think the Bears make a huge leap. I think the Bears go 8-9, 9-8, right around the 500 mark. And the Packers. Jordan Love is not it. Romeo Doubs is good, though. I really like Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. They're really good. But I think they go, under 5 wins. I think they go 5-12. Worst division in the NFC. Worst division in the league. You can't tell me that a division that has 4 teams with a losing record is better than even this. Even the Jags had a winning record. But I think the Saints take it. I think the Saints finish with a winning record. I think they finish 10-7. Saints with Derek Carr looks scary. And then my fantasy sleeper, Chris Olave, is on that team. I think he fits in perfectly with Derek Carr. I think he goes Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks. Even though I said the Bucks will be competitive, not really. Baker Mayfield's still their quarterback. But I think the Saints take this easily. I think they finish above 500. I think they're the only team to finish above 500 in that division. Niners take this division. As much as I hate to say it as a Seahawks fan, Niners take this division easily. I think they go 12-5. Seahawks, I think they go 11-6. 11-6, 10-7, something like that. And then I think the Rams go 8-9, and then the Cardinals, I think they win 2 games. I think they get the number 1 pick. I think they get Caleb Williams. Because I wasn't meaning to talk about this, but this just came out. Oh, no. This isn't exactly what I expected it to be. But the Cardinals placed Kyler Murray on the PUP list. I forget what that means. I don't know. I don't really know what PUP means, but I know if he doesn't fix whatever he's got to fix, he won't play the first 4 games, Kyler Murray. Which means they just picked up Joshua Dobbs, and they have Clayton Tune, as you guys can see. Don't know who Clayton Tune is. But the Cardinals just cut Colt McCoy, and Colt McCoy has been in the league for God knows how many years. He's played for... they're not planning to activate Kyler Murray off the PUP list. They released Colt McCoy, and Jesus, I just don't know how the Cardinals win more than 2 games. There's no way. I think the Cardinals get the number 1 overall pick. In this year's draft, they get Caleb Williams, and they get rid of Kyler, because Kyler is not it. He'd rather play Call of Duty than study film. And in my eyes, if I'm a head coach, if I'm a GM, I can't have that in the clubhouse. He doesn't have his mind focused on football, and if you're gonna play football, then gotta be attentive. He could have went to the freaking A's. I think he was the 7th overall pick. He was a first rounder in the MLB draft. I just don't know why he's acting the way he's acting. All right, last little bit. because this podcast has been pissing me off with all the technical difficulties. We're 24%. It's kind of going off the predictions. We're doing a tier list of this is just my opinion. But yeah. Yeah, that's a lock. That's a lock. 17-0. Better than the 92 or the 92 70 something Dolphins. No. Okay. We'll go by divisions. So we'll go AFC and then NFC. So we'll start with the Bills. I think the Bills are contenders. The Bills are contenders. They've got a really good team. They've got Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. They've got James Cook now, who will start because they don't have Zach Moss. They don't have Devin Singletary anymore. But I think James Cook has a breakout year. I think he's one of the best running backs in the league, especially behind Deion Dawkins and that offensive line. Their offensive line is pretty good. Josh Allen, I think, has another MVP type year, but he's not quite there. They've just got to play better in the playoffs because they can't get past the Bengals or the Chiefs as of right now. And I would put the Bengals or the Chiefs over the Bills at this point in time. Jets. I think the Jets are, because it's weird with them because they could either go like 10-7 or 11-6 and be contending for the number one seed, not the number one seed, but then like winning the AFC East, and they could also like go 8-9. They've got Aaron Rodgers now, and Aaron Rodgers is a good veteran. They don't have Zach Wilson, but I think the Jets are a playoff team. I think they make the wild card. This potential wild cards is kind of misleading. This is just teams that you think could make the wild card, and I count this as playoff teams plus anybody who makes the wild card. So I think the Jets will be a wild card team. I think they'll probably be the 6th seed in the AFC. Because you've got teams like the Ravens, the Bengals, the Chiefs, and then the Jags, whoever wins the AFC South in that garbage division. Dolphins, I think that they're a potential wild card. They could be really good. I mean, if Tua didn't get actual like brain rot in the middle of the season, they would have. I mean, I think they still made the playoffs, but I'm not really. No, they didn't. They were 9-8. They might have. I don't know. Regardless, I think they could be a wild card team, but if Tua's CTE gets to him, they will be mediocre at best. Yeah, the Pats are mediocre. The Pats are fucking awful. Sorry. Are freaking awful. Yeah, I mean, Mac Jones is definitely not it. You know, Bill Belichick loves his white quarterbacks. I mean, they've got a decent defense. They have Matthew Judon, but he's old. They have Kyle Duggar. Getting rid of J.C. Jackson may have been one of the worst decisions they could have ever made because J.C. Jackson is one of the best corners in the league, probably about a couple behind Sauce Gardner. But I think the Pats are mediocre at best. They're not young but intriguing. They're not number one pick contention, but they're just mediocre. They're just not the greatest. Bengals, like I said earlier, Super Bowl contenders. Over the Bills. Over the Bills. Joe Burrow, he suffered an injury in training camp, but he'll be fine. He'll still come back and play like Joe Burrow plays. Jamar Chase is only getting better. I think he'll win Offensive Player of the Year this year. Who else? Joe Mixon's good. They don't have a tight end. Their offensive line's kind of but I still think that they can get through it. Getting rid of Eli Apple was the best thing the Bengals could have ever done because now the Dolphins have him, I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, and the Dolphins got Jalen Ramsey, and now they don't have Jalen Ramsey because he's injured now. So, but yeah, I think the Bengals are Super Bowl contenders. I don't think they're the favorites. I just think they're the contenders. That's just me though. Ravens. Ravens are a playoff team. If they can figure it out with Lamar and him not getting injured. They have veterans in the wide receiver room. In a very young wide receiver room, they have OBJ, who can kind of coach the young guys into developing Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. Mark Andrews is Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews going to Mark Andrews. Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey. Like they have all the pieces to be a Super Bowl contender, but they've got to prove it. Like the last time they made the playoffs, they lost to the Titans. They lost to Derrick Henry. They didn't lose to the Titans. They lost to Derrick Henry. That's why they're in playoff teams and not Super Bowl contenders. They just got to take that extra step. They got to show that they can win in the playoffs. Yeah, that's really all I have for them. I think the Steelers barely missed the playoffs. I think the Steelers still go 500. I don't think Mike Tomlin breaks that streak of him not going 500. But I think in a division as stacked as the AFC North, had to alliterate right there, or enunciate. I think the Steelers just barely miss out of the playoffs. I think they could be a potential wild card team, but I don't think that they take 3 teams from the AFC North. I think that they just miss out of playoffs going 500. Browns are also in this contention. The AFC North is very good. Deshaun Watson's going to come back better than ever. He's due for a resurgence here. It'll be his first full season in the as the starter of the Cleveland Browns. Got Amari Cooper. They don't have Jarvis Landry anymore, but they've got Donovan Peoples-Jones. They've got Nick Chubb. They've got David Njoku. They've got a pretty good defense too. I think they can hold it down the AFC North, but I still think that they get last in the AFC North. But I don't think they go many games under 500. AFC South, Jags. Jags are a playoff team. They're winning the AFC South, because that division isn't very good unless Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud decide to say otherwise. But I think that Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, Evan Engram, Etienne, Calvin Ridley, I think they take the AFC South by a big margin. We'll go Colts next. Young but intriguing. Anthony Richardson. I haven't seen any of Anthony Richardson. I saw him in preseason do the Fly Eagles fly in a damn preseason game. I think he's cocky. He's really cocky, but he hasn't shown much in preseason, so I can't really put them at number 1 pick contention or mediocre at best, because I have no idea how well Anthony Richardson's going to play. Their defense is getting... they got rid of Stephon Gilmore. I don't really know who else they have on that team. They've got DeForest Buckner still. Shaq Leonard. They've got a good team. I'm not a good team, but if Jonathan Taylor figures out his contract situation, they've got a pretty decent offense. But yeah, I think they're young but intriguing at this point in time. Titans, mediocre. Derrick Henry can't carry your entire team. They added DeAndre Hopkins, but they have Ryan Tannehill. I don't really need to say much more about that. But they're like the Pats. They have good pieces in certain spots, but they're just not. They're not gonna. I don't think they go over 500. Texans, young but intriguing again. They've got a lot of young players: Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson, Jordan Petrie, Derek Stingley. They have a really young team. They just need time to develop, and I promise you that in the next 2 or 3 years they will be a playoff team. I don't think it's this year. I don't think it's next year. They need to let these guys develop. But I think after those 2 years, I think that the Texans are Super Bowl contenders, or if not, just a playoff team. AFC West. Chiefs are always Super Bowl favorites. Best offense in the league. Nick Bolton's crazy on the defense. L'Jarius Sneed's crazy. They don't have Tyrann Mathieu. Do they still have Tyrann Mathieu? I don't think so. I think Matthew's on the Saints. But you can't count out the Chiefs. You really can't. Patrick Mahomes is going to do Patrick Mahomes things. He's going to have an MVP type season. The Chiefs offense is better than any of these teams, and any of these teams that I'm going to put up, except for one or two maybe. But I think the Chiefs are the ones to beat right now. But I guess we'll figure that out in 2 weeks when football comes back. Another team. Chargers, playoffs. They'll make the playoffs. Austin Eckler. They added Quentin Johnson. They have Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, and Herbo back there. They've got Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. Khalil Mack's getting old. Derwin James, J.C. Jackson, Casey Hayward, Asante Samuel Jr. They have a really good team. Like the Ravens, they have all the pieces they need to have. They have all the pieces they need. They just need to take that next step. They need to prove that they can win in the playoffs. Last year was horrendous. They were up 21-3 or 24-3 at half, and they lost. That just cannot happen. They need to prove that they can play in the playoffs and win in the playoffs. Broncos. I think they're still mediocre. I think they're better than last year, but I think they're mediocre. Same with the Raiders. Jimmy G is not. Jimmy G's a good quarterback, don't get me wrong. But I think the Broncos and the Raiders are both mediocre in a division where you have to be good to win the division. I think both of them are mediocre. They have good. They have young pieces. They have young. What else can I say? I think they're just going to be mediocre. Okay. NFC East. Cry me a fucking river. Cry me a river. Oh, the Eagles should be Super Bowl favorite. Yeah. Shut up. The Eagles. God, last year made me hate the frickin' Eagles so much. All my friends here at Penn State are all Eagles fans. You know how much I had to hear "Go Birds" or "Fly Eagles Fly"? I'm praying on that. You know what? No, I can't do that. The Eagles are good. Eagles have a good team. As much as I really don't like the Eagles, they have a good team. They have a really good team. Jalen Carter's going to be good if he can figure out his criminal record. He'll be good. Hassan Reddick, I think, had a fluke year last year. They didn't really play a lot of good teams. What else? Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. They added DeAndre Swift, and now they have Jalen Hurts. What else do I have to say about that offense? That offense is crazy. Best offense in the NFC. No. Second best offense in the NFC. Behind a team we'll get to later. But I think they're contenders. I think they lose conference championship to a team that I will get to later. But the Eagles are still good. They're contenders. But I think last year was a fluke. That's all I'll say. How about them Dallas missing the playoffs Cowboys? They're missing the playoffs. Dak Prescott sucks. As I was just saying, the Cowboys will probably go 12 and 5. You know what? I'll put them in playoff teams. They'll be a playoff team. They'll lose in the divisional like they always do. to a team to be named later. Cowboys have a good core. They have a good defense. Leighton Vander Esch, Micah, Trayvon Diggs. They now have They do have Stephon Gilmore, right? I think he's on the Cowboys. I think he is. Jaron Kearse is good. They've got weapons. Michael Gallup. They got rid of Dalton Schultz. I think their backup is Jake Ferguson. I think he's good. He steps up when Dalton Schultz isn't there, and now he'll be getting full-time reps. Tony Pollard's a dog. Tony Pollard's going to be a top 5 fantasy football running back this year, in my opinion. But I think they make the playoffs and they lose in the divisional, like they always do. The Washington Commanders. Potential wild card. I think that if the Commanders defense can step up and if Sam Howell can be like the next Brock Purdy, like Brock Purdy type story, I think they'll make a wild card. I think they will make the wild card. They have Jahan Dotson. Curtis Samuel's a good third. Scary Terry. The guy that got shot 2 times and continues to play football, Brian Robinson. I love his story. I love him. Antonio Gibson's good. Logan Thomas. They have a quarterback at tight end. Fix that, please. Trade for Kyle Pitts. Maybe. No. But that defense is so good. Cameron Curl is a really good safety. Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Cole Holcomb has been really good. They've just got a good overall team. And I think that they take advantage of the weak schedule that they're going to have, and I think they will be a wild card team. Who else? The Giants. My roommate's a Giants fan. And they missed the playoffs. The Giants had a fluke. There's no way. I think the Giants, I don't even know how many wins they had last year, but the fact that they made the playoffs and beat the Vikings in the playoffs is just unheard of. There's no way that should have happened. But they've got it, they signed Daniel Jones to it's like a 5-year, $160 million extension. I don't think Danny Dimes deserves that much money. I think Saquon deserves a 2-year, $40 million deal because Saquon's Saquon, and I'm a Saquon bandwagon. But I think they have a good team. I think they get last in a pretty good division. I think the Commanders, as I just said, I think the Commanders step up, take a wild card spot away from the Giants. The North. I'll start over here. Number 1 pick contention. The Packers. Go Pack, go! No, bear down, motherfucker. Jordan Love, I guarantee, will be benched by week 5, and Sean Clifford will be playing. They have a young team. They're not young but intriguing, but they're just bad. I mean, Jair Alexander is good. He's a top 5 corner in the league. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs. I don't even know who they have at tight end this year, but even Jordan Love is just not the guy for the Packers. We'll go Lions next. I think the Lions win the North. Like I said, I think the Jack Campbell mentality gets to the players, and I think that they all Jack Campbell wanted a freaking lion on the sidelines while they played home games. If that doesn't tell you that the Lions are making the damn playoffs, I don't know what else will. All right. Wild card team, Chicago Bears. Justin Fields is making a leap this year, and I just said with the Texans, Ohio State quarterbacks aren't normally good in the NFL. Justin Fields is changing that narrative. I might just be a bandwagon fan, but Or I might be biased, but I think the Bears. Take a wild card spot, and I think they take it away. I think they have a wild card, and I think they lose in the wild card. But the fact that they make the playoffs is just better. Minnesota. Kirk Cousins is regressing. They lost Dalvin Cook. Alexander Madison's good, but I don't think he can step up to what Dalvin Cook was. I'm not saying that the Vikings get last. I just don't. I just think the Bears and the Vikings are duking it out for second and third, and I think the Bears take it over the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings make the playoffs this year. Is apart to what Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the league, yes. TJ Hawkinson's a top 5 tight end in the league, yes. But I just don't think Kirk gets it done. I don't think Kirk gets it done. And their defense, they lost Eric Kendricks. They don't have Anthony Barr. I think the Cowboys have Anthony Barr. I'm not 100% sure on that though. I'll fact check that. But they lost like a decent amount of their pieces. Harrison Smith is old. I don't think the Vikings make the playoffs this year. Apart to what I just said. This is my opinion. Who else is in that? Okay, that's the last one. We'll go NFC South. Saints are only a playoff team because they win the NFC South or the NFC South. Yeah. Like I said, Derek Carr looks really good in that offense, and their defense is only getting better. Marshawn Lattimore's a stud. Tyrann Mathieu's a stud. Cam Jordan's a stud. They've got a lot of pieces, and I think that Derek Carr thrives in their offense, and I think Derek Carr leads them to the 4 seed in the NFC. Panthers. Young. They're very young. Brian Burns is a dog. They've got Bryce Young, obviously, the number 1 overall pick. Bryce Young needs time to develop, just like the Texans, just like the Colts. The quarterback just needs to develop, and then you need to build around your quarterback. They're young, but I think they win. I think they're very good. It's the same with the Falcons. Bijan. You're freaking lying. Okay, I need to finish this soon. My Mac is actually almost dead already. Okay, regardless. Again, young team. They need to utilize Kyle Pitts. He's a unicorn in the draft. I'm surprised we got him as low as we did, the 5th pick or whatever pick he was. They need these guys to develop, and they need a good quarterback to do that. Desmond Ridder, and I don't even know if they still have Marcus Mariota, but they're both not it. Felipe Franks, I think he's still on that team, not it. They're young. Tyler Algier needs to develop, and they need to rebuild their defense. And then the Bucks, I think they're mediocre. Like I said, Mike Evans, Rashad White's going to be good. Chris Godwin, but Baker Mayfield's leading them, so I don't think that they're going to be anything better than mediocre. Yeah, Cardinals are getting the 1st pick. If I can okay, there we go. Cardinals get the 1st pick. I think they win 1 game, win 1 or 2 games. They're not good. They suck. They're horrible. I'm just going to kind of speed run this past because I've been talking for 35 minutes, and I'm probably going to cut a lot of this. Rams are mediocre. They're getting Stafford back. They're getting Cooper Kupp back. I think people forget that the Rams were in the Super Bowl before they went 4-13. So I think they have a bounce back year, but I don't think they make the playoffs. The Niners are going to run the fucking league. They're going to beat the Eagles because now they have a healthy quarterback. They have the best offense in the NFC. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, George Kittle. You can't get anything better than that. They have the best left tackle in the league in Trent Williams. I think they run the league this year. They have the best linebacker. They've got, Jimmy Ward's Their D-line is pretty good. Secondary scares me. Secondary's got to step up this year. Seahawks, I think, are a playoff team. I think they're better than these three, even though these two are gonna win the division, and this one's gonna win the division. I think the Seahawks are like middle of the road playoff team. I think they get the 5 or 6 seed. They've got a really good offense, and this might just be a biased Seahawks fan talking right now, but Geno Smith has proved that he can play it at a top level. Drew Lock balled the fuck out in the preseason. Jackson Smith and Jigba, one of the best wide receivers out of the draft. We got him in the second round, or at the end of the first round. DK Metcalf, dog. Tyler Lockett, dog. Kenneth Walker, dog. Zach Charbonnet, dog. Noah Fant, dog. Our offense is just full of dogs. Like, there's no way that the Seahawks would lose more than 8 games. And that's just me. But yeah, that's what I got for y'all. These are I should probably screenshot this or take a picture with my phone, and then I'll come back to it at the end of the year and redo it. You got the picture? We got the picture on? But that is it. This has taken me... I recorded the first part of this Friday, and then this has taken me an extra 2.5 hours because of the goddamn technical difficulties. You get to see the fellas. Oh, that doesn't show up. But yeah, thank you for sticking with me through the technical difficulties. I know it's not a stream, but it still feels like that I was late. Getting this out a day later than usual because I was busy this weekend. Driving friends to bar crawls, caring for them, going out, stuff like that. College life, yeah, Next week's episode, Friday, we'll have another pre-recorded segment. Penn State versus West Virginia predictions. We will have... What else will we have? I'm trying to think. I know the Penn State West Virginia recap prediction is going to be there. What else was I going to freaking do? Oh, we'll go over MLB, all that. I didn't go over the scores because I've already been talking for 40 minutes on top of another 30 minutes. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer episode with all the technical difficulties. I also talked for a while. So, all right. Thank you for watching. Whoever is watching, I appreciate you. Mostly all my friends right now, but we will be getting it out there. We will have the pre-recorded segment on Friday, and then podcast should get up Sunday night after the West Virginia Penn State game. You'll get my diagnostics on that. Talking about Drew Aller, talking about Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, and our defense, how good we look against West Virginia. Go over college football and what happened in the day and games that we'll go over upsets if there weren't any, and we will talk about college football pretty much the entire day. Go over MLB scores. Do an MLB tier list. As of no, we won't do that. I'm just winging it. But appreciate you for watching this. Next podcast will be up Sunday night, if not Monday morning. And this will be up as you're seeing this. This is gonna be up as soon as I press stop recording and start editing in Premiere. Premiere Pro. So, again, thank you for watching. And I will talk to you guys again on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, the 3rd. So, adios.